what makes mastership? It is the ability to bridge the ancient with the modern. Recently, I read about the Vesuvian challenge, the decoding of one Stoic text from second century of modern era. And that is a triumph of classical philology and modern science. That is an example of the ability to bridge the ancient times with modernity in a magnanimous fashion. Now, to the point. Some people divide others by class, by wealth, by status, by prestige, by race, by ethnicity, by nation, whatsoever. Now, what if we assume a position, a superposition, in which we find the civilization and humanitas of a given individual? Now, whenever I encounter people in the streets or talk with them, or whether these are foreigners or myself as an expat, meaning I migrated to the UK, I lived there for 5 years, and I traveled broadly. I traveled to Far Asia, throughout Europe. I've been in the States once, in Michigan. I was raised amongst the Arabs in the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Manama, Fujairah, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, and so on in 1992, 1993, when I was a little boy, right after the Gulf War. So, I prefer to take case-by-case individual rather than generalize. Sure, there are generalization stereotypes. We may find the common threads of a given ethnicity and decide, oh, these people are like this, these people are like that. But on an individual level, first things first, I don't care for the skin color, ethnicity, nation, subclade races, whatsoever. What I try to find in a human being from his perspective and my perspective is the civilized qualities that he or she possesses. It is the civility and the humanitas, how to be humane. And if they fulfill both humaneness and civilized qualities, the politeia of it all, I have absolutely no right of discarding them in whatsoever manner. It is as if the Pan-Hellenic idea of I am the child of nature and starry heavens, yet by Dionysian connection my race is heavenly, starry in a way. So that is sometimes what would be called a certain idea that we are born of the land, of the blood, but we are born primarily of earth and nature as human animals. Semi-divine in status, yet aspiring to this divinity is a long progress. And this aspiration to divinity is defined both by civility, by humaneness as we redefine ourselves as human beings, and the intellectual enterprises. If in the Neoplatonic schools the divinity is of high intellect, non-human, anti-human intellect, then how else to near divinities, numen multiplex, e pluribus unum, than by developing our intellect, civilization, refinement. And that is what differentiates us from the participation mystique in nature as animals. We symbolize, homo symbolicus. And by that we create abstracts, different grammar of ideas. How do we read the book of the universe? How do we read the book of divinities in plurality? How do we read the book of the underworlds, of the hypoctonoi, of the chthonic realities, dark worlds, of the divine, numinous, stellar, solar? Now that is up to the human beholder to decide how will he place himself in front of nature, other human beings, animals, and divinities. And by that stance, this outlook, he makes himself significant both to gods, nature, and other human beings. I think that is quite a simple solution. Thank you.